Hi everyone, greetings to all my dear students. In this video, I'm going to give you the few basic tips which you have to follow for external examinations and in particular to JNTU examinations. I do this video because I have evaluated majority of the papers and I have found few basic things which are missing in the papers. So I want to bring awareness in the students so they just avoid them and gain more marks. That's the main intention in doing this video. Now coming to tip number one. So I suggest every students to write down the question number properly. So in hurry or I don't know, majority of the students, they ignore writing the question number. If they write the question number, they sometimes, forget to write the subsection of the question number. So here I have given an example of the question number 3A. 3B, indicate them properly, students. If you don't indicate them, there is no chance of getting the marks, or you may lose the marks, students. So if you are writing seventh question A bit, indicate it properly with a bigger size and also indicate it clearly so that the evaluator can understand and award the marks to that seventh question A bit and seventh question B bit. In that way, so indicate the subsections also, students. Make it sure like you indicate the subsections, not only the question number, subsections, either A, B, C, or D, indicate them properly, students. So that's the first tip which I'm going to give for you. Now coming to the second tip, students, after writing all the subsections, draw a line, students, so that it gives a clear view to the evaluator, like you completed all the sections, all the subsections of that particular question numbers. Here I have given an example of second question A bit, second question B bit, and two lines are being drawn, students, to indicate that like second question is completely over. Later, I'm fourth question. So with the fourth question, A bit is done, B bit is done, draw the two lines again. So, it really gives a clear impression on your question paper and to the evaluator, like you have completely done with that question along with the subsection, students. And another one which I want to hint everyone use, so because, people are more cautious and after every subsection, they draw the line. So please don't do that. Do it after A bit and B bit. If at all C bit and D bit are there, complete all the sections and draw the lines. Don't do it for each and every subsections, like A bit line, B bit again line, C bit. It creates confusion. Be as simple as possible. Complete all the things and then do it, students. Then draw the lines. So it's just to make the evaluator work more easier and informing him like, yes, I completed all the sections. So it's time for you to award the marks. So in that way. So now coming to, tip number 3, students. So whenever you conclude the things, keep the block. So if it is an important formula or, the basic formula perfectly, keep a box for it. So either the box, you can keep it for formulae or the output or the answer or the results, anything, the final one or the one which you think very perfect from where you started also, you can do it. Here I kept boxes for different formulae actually, and I tell you how to keep the box, which color pen also has to be used will be the next one. It will come in the next tip, students. So let us go to the fourth tip, students. So here in the fourth tip, I just want to tell you very, very clearly, students, it's like faculty community has really been fed up. So I just want to suggest you this kind of tip actually. So if you look on the left hand side, students, it's all a theory. So theory has been written there, but we are doing engineering. So engineering has, it has its own flavor. So it has block diagrams, it has figures, pictures, schematics, circuit diagrams, tables, graphs, which are also called as characteristics. We have flow charts, we have algorithms, we have code, we have waveforms, we have equations, we have derivations, we have n number of things, students. It's not just a theory. So in my experience, I have corrected many papers in which I see people writing top to bottom theory. So, majority of the evaluators, I feel like, it's not engineering at all. But engineering has lot many things. So try to implement the things which are on the right hand side in your paper, and then try to write theory in lines, students, not like from beginning to the end of page actually. So take a block diagram, draw the block diagram, explain the working of the block diagram or the picture, and explain the characteristics with the equations, derive them, do a problem. So many things are there, rather than writing a theory from beginning to the end. Students, ensure like you don't write theory from beginning to the end. And very rarely people will read it, because it's not, we are not doing a conventional course. You are doing a technical course which comprises all the things, like from block diagrams to the waveforms. So no theory at all, students. Theory will be there, students, but in bits and bits, in the sentences, in a paragraph, not like huge from beginning to the end, all the lines people completed. So ensure like you don't do it. And coming to the fifth tip, students, very important. So there is a problem for all the engineering students. So what people do it, they don't know how to solve it. So what they generally do it, they write down what is given in that problem, and they expect marks from it for the given, and they keep a subheading called given, and they write down the parameters given in the question, and they don't try to solve it, but they try to expect marks from it, students. That's why I kept a census for the given. No marks would be given, students, completely. So what you have to do is, you just go through the problem, write down some formulae related to it. If you know that problem perfectly, no doubt, but people who are writing given, just extend it, write down the formulae related to those problems, try to substitute the numericals given in that question or the problem, and later try to understand the logic behind the problem. And after that, you're trying to attempt the problem actually, and go with some certain kind of steps of procedure. And remember, students, if your answer is wrong also, for the procedure you'll be awarded the marks. If the procedure is correct, obviously you'll get the right answer, and you'll be getting the 100 marks and 100% marks awarded to that problem. But if you do the procedure, and at the end something goes wrong and you get wrong answer also, you'll be given marks for the procedure, students. And ensure like that the answer would be sensible, students. So that's what I say. So when don't write given and write out the parameters and don't expect marks, try to attempt it with the formula which you have studied, and try to write few steps, try to do something, attempt it, proceed it, and try to get some answers, students. That's what this tip number 5 is going to tell you. So now let us go to the another tip, sixth tip, students. So majority of the students ask me what kind of decoration I have to do in the answer script. Decoration is not required, students, if you are technically strong, but simple things are required, like you take a blue colored pen, black colored pen, and a pencil. That's it. No other things are required. So blue, where should I use blue? To write down all the theory of the content, you use blue. And black, where do you have to use? To write down the heading, students. I said you to keep the final answers, formulae, derivation, and all those things in the boxes. So for the boxes, you can use this black color, which really highlights. And after the drawing the lines, after completing the question, so you can use this black colored one. And pencil, where you can use wherever engineering concepts comes, like the diagrams, block diagrams, table, graph, flow charts, tabular columns, you can use the pencil. And pencil really helps you, students. If you do something mistake, you can erase it and correct it also. And people keep on asking me, can I use red colored ones? Can I use a blue color glitter, orange glitter, or yellow glitter kind of thing? For God's sake, don't use any other colors. We are not going to test the decoration part, students. We are going to test your technical part and presentation skills in a simpler way. Don't use any other color pencils rather than blue, black, and pencil, which I mentioned here. So that's another tip which I want to give you. Let us go to the seventh tip, students. So this is the another one which I personally want to suggest you. You generally go it in a numerical way. I have seen many question papers. They start with the ninth question, they go with fourth, they come to 7, they come to 1, and they create a lot of confusion while evaluating the answer script, students. Better go in a numerical way. Suppose you start with 4, later 6, later 8, later 9, something like that, you can do it. That would be the much better way to answer. So as I was telling you, you have to make the evaluator work much easier, because he turns papers front and back and awards the marks. So if you go in very confusing way, he gets confused, and there's a chance like you can lose the marks, students. So, try to attempt it. Yeah, it's like you can attempt as if you like, but it's always better you go it in a systematic way. So that's always used in your examinations and also in your life. That's also useful. And suppose, I'm attempting a question like fourth question A bit I attempted. I don't know fourth question B bit. So give some time, or, give some space and try to come and attempt it later. Don't bring seventh question C bit or later go for fourth question B bit. You can do it as per the procedure, but, do it in a very neat way. That's called the technical skills. You are making the work of the evaluator much easier. And, after doing, if you do all these kind of things, yeah, fourth question A and B completed, I have award the marks. You'll be confident. It would be easy work for him to award the marks instead of getting confused and he not giving the marks for you. So that kind of complexity you try to avoid. That's the reason, I always suggest the students to attempt the questions in a numerical way. Now, and, this is another personal suggestion from my side, students. What I suggest you is, don't leave the examination hall after attempting all the questions. Suppose the examination is over by 1.5 hours. So people rush outside, don't do that. Just sit, because 3 hours is your own time for that subject. So just revise it, check it, and then find out any mistakes you have done. If you got 50 marks, if you revise and check it and correct it, you may get 55 marks, students. Suppose if you have attempted 3 questions, students, you can even try to attempt another 2 questions in the 3 hours. You can recollect, remember, or get some ideas in attempting some questions which you are trying to, attempt it. So you can try to score well. So I suggest you to be in that examination hall for completely 3 hours, because it's your time. And in that time, you don't have any external disturbance at all. No friend is going to talk to you, no one is going to call to you, no mobile phone and nothing, no disturbance at all. You are going to pay your complete attention on your question paper. So you may get many ideas in attempting different answers, students. So try to be in the examination hall for completely 3 hours. And, if suppose you are very good at that subject, you completed that exam in 2.5 hours, you have another half an hour to revise it, students, to revise the answer you wrote and to highlight in it, to keep the boxes and to check your answers, and this kind of things really increases your marks. So for the people with 65, they can go to 72 kind of thing. Other people with 40, they can get around 55 kind of thing. There will be always a room for the improvement if you sit for the complete time. So this is my tip, which I am going to personally give you. And coming to the ninth one, the ninth tip. So know the exam time periodically. So, nowadays in the examination hall, so watches are being collected because most of the watches have become digital. So watches are not allowed. So you are not going to be aware of the time. So what you have to do is, so whenever you go to the examination hall, look all around and find out the clock and find out whether it is working or not, students. Because, sometimes the battery drains off and it shows only one time at one particular point. In the middle of the examination also, sometimes it is going to happen, students. So check about the clock, and if you are doubtful about the clock, always speak to the evaluator politely and find out the time, students, and find out how much time is left or what is the time kind of thing. So that's also, and again, manage your time properly, students. You have to, so what is that management you have to do is, so what I generally do in the mistake I generally do in my exam is, suppose if I know a question, the first question which we answer is the best one which we know. So I give a lot of time to it, and the remaining questions, the time for the remaining questions get literally less, and I write very fastly, I hurry up, I sometimes commit mistakes and all those stuff I do it. So what you do is you plan for it, students. What is the planning? So you sit for 3 hours. 3 hours means how many minutes? 3 into 60. So it is, so you have 180 minutes of time. And how many questions have to be answered based on your bit subsections, A bit, B bit kind of thing. So divide your total time by the number of sections you have to answer, and you get, you get the right time, you get the time to be allotted for each question. Suppose if there are 2 sections, you have to answer 5 questions. So totally 10, each subsection carries, 10 subsections you have to answer. 180 by time, 18 minutes you have to answer. So what you do is, you keep 15 minutes of time, save 3 minutes for every question, so that at the end, you can highlight it, you can revise it, you can check it, but don't come out of the examination hall till 3 hours are over, students, because it's time for you to gain marks. You drop and drop make emotion, students. 3 marks in every subject or 5 marks in every subject really will increase your CGPA to a higher level. And one scored CGPA in the life is for the ever, students. It's not going to change actually. So that's what, plan accordingly. That's called as time management. How much time I give for each question, you decide it, and then start writing your examination. You can decide it before going to the examination also. So don't allot much time for one question itself. So you know it pretty well. Try to complete it by lesser time, and after that spend more time on the difficult questions. In that way also you can plan accordingly. So that's another one which I'm going to give you. Now coming to the 10th one, and very basic ethical etiquette one, don't waste time on unnecessary things. So what is that unnecessary things? First and foremost one which I want to tell you is, students, so check your ID card and hall ticket. Most of you will be having it, students. Along with that, because the COVID has not ended, so carry your mask and sanitizer, your own sanitizer, students. Don't depend on other sanitizer. If someone asks for the help, you can give them a drop of sanitizer, but have your own sanitizer. So take proper precautions, because we can't, because it's a public property, many people sit and write on the benches. You have to be very cautious about people giving answer book, question paper, collecting. So be cautious about these things, like the hall ticket, identity card, mask, and sanitizer. And after that, when the exam started, once you are in examination hall, stop speaking to the other people. This is the very good habit of all the students. You have to follow. Once you are into the examination hall, you can't speak to the other people. So it becomes a malpractice, or it becomes an issue between you and, the invigilator. Why are you talking? What makes you to talk? And all those questions comes out. And after that, don't request anyone for your stationery, whether it is pen, pencil, eraser, sharpener, scale. Carry all these things, including, if you want, compass, protractor, take it with you more than required. We can't say the pen can stop at the middle of the examination. Try to have two pens with you, in that way, try to plan accordingly. Might be pouches are not allowed. You can keep the pouches with the invigilator and take all your stationery and keep it on your bench and use it accordingly, so that you can do it. And after that, because it's a summer time, you people might be thirsty during the examination. So carry your own bottle, students. No one prohibits you carrying your own bottle. Better carry a transparent water bottle. And this you can drink from your own bottle instead of drinking it from the other people's water bottle. Again, COVID has not ended. So instead of looking for the college providing water, you can have your own bottle. Or instead of looking for your friend's water bottle and sharing water, so you can have your own water bottle. That's what I generally tell you. And coming to the another important one, which is all about the natural calls, plan accordingly. So it's not we are not we don't allow you to go to the washroom during the examination time. It's completely you have to take the permission from the higher authorities. So it creates disturbance. So plan accordingly before going to the examination itself. Complete your natural calls and then step into the examination hall. So that's what I suggest you. In time management, students, the total time divided by the number of questions which you attempt tells you how much time you have to give for the each question. So 15 minutes time, and you complete, you will complete everything. You'll complete almost, all the questions, and you'll be having enough time to, go back and check it. So every time speak, if you don't find clock in your room, speak to the invigilator, and be aware of the time. Majority of the times, people are losing the time because of the mistake in the clock showing in that room. Okay. And after that, think positive, students. I just kept this slide because, people study a lot, and before the examination, they lose hope. They feel like what all I study may not come in the examination. That small little thought diminishes the complete knowledge which they have, students. So be always, strong and bold. So, you study what all you study, you just refer your old question papers from the university, you know the depth of the questions being asked, and that really gives you confidence. So you'll be very happy to write the examinations with that confidence. If you don't think of any negative thoughts like I can't do well, there is something bad going to happen me. So just be bold, confidence, never give up till you complete your examination, students. So, and other thing is, this is what I generally say to my students every time when they go for the examinations. So I tell them, like, if you know a word, write down sentences. If you know sentences, make it into paragraph. If you know paragraph, make an essay from it. Essay doesn't mean writing theory from beginning to the end, students. Include some diagrams, codes, waveforms, tabular columns, substitute diagrams or something. Make it as an engineering paper, student. So that's what I generally say to my students. So majority of the students say that, sir, we followed your words and we cleared majority of the subjects. So which really make me happy. I made this video so that everyone, gets this kind of knowledge and they do the same thing to your students. And so I just want to read some sentences which I'm inspired, which were said by Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it is done. So what I generally want to say is, never lose the hope, student. Never think about like, no, I can't do that. No, it's going to be difficult. What if that question is being asked? So no, don't lose the hope at all. Try to give your level best. So try to give a complete thing, students. And, until you do your examination, don't lose your positive thinking. Don't lose your hope at all. Be strong, bold, confident, students. So that really makes you to make a better life for you. Okay. And with that, I'll end my presentation, and thank you all of you. Thank you very much, and wish you all the very best for your examinations. Thank you, students.